So you should have gotten, when you multiply these out, you should get negative 3, negative 22, 60, and 27. All right. So when we compare these two, what do we see? A times B is not the same as B times A. When I change the order of multiplication, the answer is different. So we're going to say usually A times B does not equal B times A. Order matters. So when we're doing matrix multiplication, it matters what order we multiply the matrices in. Oops, did I say B times B? B times A. There we go. Usually the order matters. Sometimes it doesn't, but usually it does. So just a couple more little pieces that we need for today. The identity matrix. Oh, and then I want to show you how to do this in your calculator. The identity matrix has it has to be square matrix. It has ones on the diagonal. And zeros everywhere else. And we use a capital I to show our identity matrix. So for example, a 2 by 2 identity matrix would be this matrix here. A 3 by 3 identity matrix would be this one. And the identity matrix is like the number 1 for numbers. So multiplying by 1 doesn't change a number. Multiplying by the identity matrix doesn't change the matrix. And we're going to use the identity matrix a little later in the unit. So before we look at the calculator, I want to preview where we're going with this stuff. So we learned about matrix multiplication. What we're going to do is turn a system of equations. So let's say I have the system of equations. We're going to turn this into a matrix equation. So I'm just writing down the system. So there's my system of equations. We're going to turn this into a matrix equation. So I'm going to write my coefficient matrix. And instead of writing an augmented matrix, now I'm going to write a matrix with my variables. And that's going to equal a column matrix with my constants. And then we're going to work on a process for solving this equation, or this matrix, x, y, and z, by using matrix operations. Rather than using row operations, we're going to use matrix operations to solve this equation, and we'll get x, y, and z all at once. And this works. This is a 3 by 3. This is a 3 by 1. So these two are equal. And our result, 3 by 1. There's my 3 by 1 matrix. So we're going to come up with a process where we can solve this matrix equation for this matrix. And we'll get our answer x, y, z equals whatever the numbers that come out in that matrix. So that's where we're going with all of this stuff. We have to learn a couple more things before we can solve this equation. All right, questions? Okay, let's look at matrix multiplication on our calculator. If you have your calculator, grab it out, and we'll go through how to do these things on our calculator. Oh, sure. All right, so the first thing we have to do is get our matrices into our calculator. So I'm going to go to second matrix. It's the button here that x to the minus 1. So you get your matrix menu. So I press this button that's highlighted in red. And I'm going to go over to edit. And I want to edit matrix A. And first thing we have to do is tell the calculator how big the matrix is. So let's do a 3 by 3. And now we can put in our elements. I'm just going to put the numbers 1 through 9 in there. So there's my matrix A. Now I'm going to create a matrix B. So I'll go back to the matrix menu, go over to edit, and I want to edit matrix B. And I'll make that 3 by 3 as well. And then I'm just going to enter the numbers 1 through 9, but go in reverse order. All right, and if I want to multiply these two, I can do, so I'm just quitting out of there. We'll go to second matrix, hit A. I don't have to do anything, just hit enter. Times, go back to the matrix, go down to B, A times B, hit enter, and there's my answer. I could do B times A, same thing. Just change the order, B times A. And there's B times A. And we can see those two aren't the same. I could do A plus B. Hit enter. There's A plus B. I could do some more complicated problem. I'm just going to make this up. So I'm going to do A times 3 times 2B minus A. So there's my problem, this matrix algebra problem. Hit enter, and there's my answer. So anything 2 by 2, anything above a 2 by 2, you would be able to use a calculator for. So 3 by 3, you would be able to use your calculator. 2 by 2, anything with a 2 by 2, if you have 2 rows, for example, 2 columns, you should be able to do by hand. So I would ask you to do a multiplication with a 2 by 2, or like the example we did, a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 3, something like that. But anything 3 by 3 and above, you'd be able to do in your calculator. The calculator is a great way to check your answers also. Matrices, that's one nice thing about matrices is computers are really good at working with matrices. All right, questions? Okay. All right, there you go.